What's it? Hello and welcome. It is a no contest. The moment India got 374, it turned into an absolute no contest of sorts. Clearly, it was a Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill day. Let me go to Devashish. And today, the two of us have had a blast over the last 1 hour. We were trying to figure out why we were setting the camera the other side. And that was because India's batting had given us so much joy. We are having our thumbs up as Tufan. How impressed were you, Rohit and Virat?
It couldn't have been a better start for the new year. Means with two of our superstar batters getting on to some runs, and obviously Virat getting on to his 45th 100. Means,
the one day 45th
and second consecutive ODI 100. So and even Shubman Gill also clicked.
Correct.
So it couldn't have been a better start for a new year.
Okay, let's put it this way. One record that Virat will break, and both Devashish and I are unanimous about it, is the 4900 Sachin Tendulkar ODI record. You're sure about it? I mean,
100%. And with India playing 15 ODIs, excluding the Asia Cup, so 15 ODIs, and I assume that he would go on to reach that milestone during that World Cup, and it would be icing on the cake.
You think he'll wait for such long? I mean, he's still got 2 against Sri Lanka, some against New Zealand, some
3 against New Zealand, and if I'm not wrong, 3 against Australia.
So that should give him 3 plus 3, 6 plus 2,
8 matches.
Plus Asia Cup. He's still got a lot of opportunities. I mean, World Cup too far away. Can we get Virat Kohli to break that? I'm 73rd 100. Today, somebody said on air in commentary he can get to 100 hundreds. Do you think he can? I mean, according to me, the 100 hundreds is a bit too far. But ODI, yes.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. He can definitely break that record of Sachin Tendulkar, 4900s. But then definitely, I reckon that he would be very close to that milestone.
100.
Yeah.
What a moment that will be for every Virat fan, for every Indian cricket fan, in fact. The fact of the matter is fabulous. Fabulous. I mean, Virat Kohli close to 100 hundreds. But talk about Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma, for him as captain to be able to score runs today, must have been a very important moment.
And automatically you can see it is reflected on the score, on the total that we have put. Means if you get a good start, 143 for no loss with him and Shubman Gill striking that partnership, automatically see if our top 3 gets going on any given day, be it a Virat and Rohit, and for someone else click, then we automatically reached more than 300 plus.
What is important is the start. They got some 7-8 runs and over every over. So it was like a T20 start. First 13 overs.
And also the fact that Shubman Gill didn't need to go bang on. Means
he's playing good cricket shots.
Yeah, just a strike out of 100, and see eventually we ended up scoring 370, almost 360 plus.
So it's important. On a day Prithvi Shaw gets 240 not out from Mumbai, Shubman gets a 70. So the Indian cricket becomes interesting, but does Rohit Sharma look a bit leaner, a bit hungrier to you?
Yes, because he had a very, very bad 2022. So, and it augurs well for the Indian team.
100%.
Because he was too much under pressure with, obviously, I won't say he was dropped from T20 format, but definitely that break did well for him.
Let's put it this way. Both of us, we are huge Rohit Sharma supporters, okay? Rohit Sharma is important for Indian cricket. As captain in the 50 overs, in the test match arena, he's massively important for Indian cricket. And that way, this 80 that Rohit Sharma got, that blistering start, 67 ball 80 or something like that, is important for India. Because the captain in form automatically makes it very different for the rest of the players.
Absolutely. And it transfers to the entire team. It's the body language, you can see the captain firing at the top. So, and today was the sheer example of the captain leading from the front, because it was Rohit who started at the beginning and then followed by Virat. So
the big boys.
Yes, the big boys of Indian cricket.
Let's take it at a time. It was largely the batting. It was largely the batting that set it up. Once you get 374 against the Sri Lanka, Dasun Chanaka was hitting those shots at the end, which was of no use. In fact, you were right. when it becomes a one-sided contest, the 50-over contest become a tad boring. I mean,
Yeah.
for any one of us watching, it becomes a tad boring. So in that sense, that batting set it up. Sri Lanka, they got to close to 300, but it was a no contest. How impressed were you with Umran Malik? Yes, Sunil Gavaskar was making the point about ball number 5 and 6, that he bowls the leg side, bowls some wides, gives some runs. But with that pace, again picking up wickets.
Yes, again picking up wickets, and he bowled the fastest delivery by an Indian. Means 156 kilometers per hour. Who would have thought an Indian bowler bowling at the speed of 156 kilometers per hour?
So what's the score? Let's take it from 280 for 8.
288.
288 for 8 is the score. We are almost done with the game. 49th over going on, Devashish. Comprehensive win. World Cup preparation, actually, if you say starts from this, the new year, ODI cricket, this is the format that this year we will look.
I would not say so, because Sri Lanka as an opponent, obviously with due respect to the Sri Lankan, they are a decent side in T20 format, but not the case as ODI cricket is concerned, because but still, obviously a win is a win. I mean, we started the ODI series with a bang, and hopefully we'll make it 2-0 when.
Okay, there's a lot of talk. Let me put you in this spot. There's a lot of talk. KL Rahul obviously has to keep wickets. Shreyash got the preference. Surya was not. With this form, people are again mixing formats there. Surya and the form in T20, people thought he'll walk into this side. Yeah. Ishan, 200 in the last game, not playing this game. How tough is that on the young man?
Obviously, it will be tough, and obviously, rightly so. As was the case with Surya Kumar Yadav, he has not scored a 50 in his last 10 T20 innings. So automatically, and you have someone like a Shreyas Iyer who has scored almost 623 runs in 12
even in his
ODIs.
ODI innings, so Surya.
Yes, averaging almost 55. So he deserves. And as rightly was said by Rohit Sharma in the pre-match press conference, that someone who has done well into ODI should be persisted with. And that was the case. That was the sheer example, because the team management went with the players who have done well in the ODI format.
It still seems strange when you watch that inning.
Yeah,
when you're like, sky's not playing.
Yeah, 112 odd in the last T20 international, and then to be dropped and not to be picked. I would rather say that you pick players on form, because Surya.
So would you have played Ishan and not Shubman after that double 100?
Yes, it's a tad injustice to Ishan Kishan, because 200 odd runs in
He would have got 300.
Yeah, yes. So, but then having said that, all right, because in the selectors are going to try this 20 players who have been shortlisted for the ODI format.
So this 20, Joydeep was making this point the other night that suppose somebody has a great domestic season, has a great IPL, will you not get that person in?
Yeah, the sheer example of Prithvi Shaw, you have rightly pointed out that someone who has been scoring runs day in and day out. Today also he scored a double 100, so he deserves a place.
So there's Joydeep. Joydeep, we were talking about this comprehensive win. I know you're feeling a little sleepy, because once 374, you tend to think, I can have my kebabs, I can have my firni, and I can go to sleep and join Boria and Devashish at the end of the game. I understand that. So let me put you in the spot and wake you up. Talk to me about Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli.
Superb. Outstanding. I couldn't be more happier. More so for Rohit. I think, he's had a bit of a rough run after he's become captain. He was a different player. It's sort of coincided. It's got nothing to do with the captaincy. But for some reason, it's just so happened. That's how life pans out. That when he became captain, it's just that he wasn't in the best of form. And I know what a player he is, especially in the 50 over and the test match version. I feel he has a lot to contribute. And in any team, if the captain is performing, it's always good for the team. So going forward with the World Cup this year, I think that is the biggest piece of news for me.
Did he look, I asked this question of Devashish also, did he look a tad leaner, a tad hungrier? His body language, even the way he was throwing himself on the ground while fielding, it was a different Rohit of sorts to me. And I love, just love that man. So Rohit Sharma is very important for Indian cricket.
I have a feeling this break that he has taken, or whatever it was forced, has done him wonders. I just have a feeling that he's got a little bit of time to sit on his own and just think. Because when you're captain and when you're a player in the Indian team, you have a lot to take care of. Especially when you're captain, your responsibilities go through the roof. But now, away from the action, away from the public eye, in his apartment, sitting and just quietly having some me time, some introspection has really helped. He is looking leaner. He's He batted superbly. And what happens when you put on weight is just your little bit of movements that you do towards the hands, ball, everything gets a bit slow. You can't feel it, but something is amiss. But when you lose weight, everything sort of falls back in place. And I could see the way he batted today, yeah, it was a superb wicket. That's why close to 670 runs have been scored. But it was probably better at the second half than it was the first. I think with the dew falling and all, it's even better in the second half. And this is as good as Rohit I've seen him bat. In fact, I thought he batted the best of all the Indian batters today, in spite of not getting
Virat,
100.
73rd, 145th. Devashish reckons that, in no time, maybe during the World Cup, we don't know if he'll take that long. He'll certainly break Sachin's record. Thought on Virat's 100?
For sure. For sure, he will break Sachin's record. That goes without saying. He's only what 6 away from touching it, 7 from breaking it. Just a matter of time. Yeah, I think with these senior players, the amount of cricket they play, I always sometimes feel when they take a break and come, they look so refreshed. They bat in a different way. It happened with Virat the last time also. So I always feel maybe with the amount of cricket we play, maybe we should just let them go. In some of when we play the teams that are lowly ranked, just let them take a break because they play the IPL. That's a different kettle of fish. Along with that, they play everything around, and it's like play, and it gets to them a little bit of for lack of a better word, their standards drop, little bit of mediocrity creeps in. But once they're refreshed, and that can happen when you've played for the country for 10, 12, 14 years, you need a bit of break. And it's for them. I think it's for them to themselves now plan how, like a Rafael Nadal doesn't play every tournament, or a Djokovic or a Federer did in the last 4 years. It's a bit like that.
And talking about Virat's record, Joydip Buriada, he has 73 hundreds, and the next man who has the most hundreds in contemporary cricket is David Warner with 45, with 45 international hundreds. So see the gap that he has set for him. 73 is what Virat has, and the next man to have scored the most hundreds is David Warner with 45, followed by Joe Root at 44, and Rohit Sharma with 4100. So see the gap, the breach of gap. Means he has set his own standard.
Okay, let's just give you the score. 300 for 8, Sri Lanka 49.5. So 50 overs almost done. Dasun Shanaka once again getting 100. Last match we saw Dasun Shanaka play well. Previous that the one that Sri Lanka won, that 50 of 22 balls. Today also the captain Shanaka getting 100. Yes, you will say that the match was a no contest and he had Kasun Rajita the other end just giving him the strike. But he's played well now.
Absolutely. He has a liking for the Indian bowling attack. Let me put it this way, because Dasun Shanaka in recent times it started with that innings in Dharamshala and he has continued from there. Every time he sees India, suddenly he gets a spark. He has always played well against Indians.
So, Joydip, Dasun Shanaka, this form, the 100 here, 50 there, at 200 strike rate. Also, bowls picked up the first wicket today, doesn't get an IPL team, and a Nick Pooran gets 16 crores. You are surprised? I am.
I am. I certainly am. I sometimes feel the Sri Lankan cricketers don't get the credit they deserve because they are low key. They are not at their best as a team. If you look at the West Indian players with the CPA and everything that goes on, just not in the IPL, but I don't think any of these players get many gigs outside their own country, which is a bit of a shame. Because I sometimes feel that because they are not such showmen like some of the others, they don't get the recognition they deserve. And there are very, very good players out here. And I think they're just about maybe a year away from.
I think Joydip is absolutely right. I mean, no colored hair, no style, no that zigzag that a flamboyance of a Dasun Shanaka will keep a low profile as a captain. Look at his performance. He doesn't have an IPL team, for God's sake. How on earth? He's a proper all-rounder.
Absolutely, and I for one would love to see him get an IPL team, because if someone gets injured, maybe the franchise should first of all pick him. Talk about KKR. They don't have a all-rounder like
they went for Shakib and not Dasun Shanaka.
And Dasun Shanaka. Strange thing happens in IPL.
Yeah, and also
now let me
on
put
this.
it in the spot. Okay,
Even
go
if
on.
I'll just finish this one. Yeah. So even if he doesn't get an IPL contract, but why doesn't he get a CPL contract? Why doesn't he get a Bangladesh Premier League contract? He should get a contract everywhere. That's how good he is.
It's ridiculous. I mean, these decisions you don't have explanations for. But because Joydip, it was a one-sided contest, and you've discussed Rohit, you've discussed Virat, we discussed Shubman before you joined the show. Let me ask you a tough one. What is happening with Jasprit Bumrah? Gets into the team, then goes out again. Now we hear maybe even that Australia series is doubtful. This series is not playing. I mean, why isn't there clarity? Why was he brought in? Why was he sent out? Is this the way you manage your best bowler? Is this sending a good signal about professionalism in our sport?
See, unless you're part of the inner cauldron, you'll never know what actually is going on. But what I can foresee is that, they went him, made him go through the rigors of a couple of days and it didn't feel right. And he's too valuable a player to be, brought into action before. If this was a newcomer, they would have probably gone with it. But knowing that the World Cup is around the corner, knowing that the Test series is there, they probably, have him wrapped in cotton wool right now because they're not really sure that if they give him a full go again, whether it's going to break down. If he breaks down now, there is the possibility that he might break down for a while. I know of injuries where the physio has come and told me, just to give you Mukesh Kumar's incident, when Mukesh Kumar first, was unveiled and he was ready. So Kamlesh, who's now with the Indian team, told me that you cannot play him for the next 1 year. I said, why not? He's bowling, he's fine. He looks okay to me as a coach. He said, no, he's not. He can't. He doesn't have any strength. He'll have a stress fracture. He'll have bone edema, blah, blah, blah. So we didn't play him for a year. So sometimes the human physiology is very difficult for us to understand. We have to go with what the physio says because this is a complete grey area, at least for me, and I'm sure for the coaches. Those guys are half doctors. So they must have said that if you play him now, and he breaks down, he might be out for 6 months, and that's the chance the Indian team cannot take.
Question. I mean, was this not thought about when you picked him in the team? What changed in 4 days? He didn't play. Then why did you not think about it before publicly proclaiming he's fit? He's undergone rehab. He's brought him in the team, and then 4 days later you send him out. I mean, my question is either you take a clear call because obviously he's too precious. The point is there professionalism in this? Is this the way to do things? I mean, is this a professional NCA stand? Because if it is there, because for me to pick him and then not pick him and say, oh, he's not ready, suddenly seemed a little strange. Thoughts?
No, something might have happened. What I can foresee, something might have happened at the last minute. So you pick him. Okay. Now the T20 series is going on. He's not part of the T20 series. You pick him. He's at the NCA bowling, and at the last 2 days or towards the end, it doesn't feel right.
Okay. Yeah, obviously we know what happened with Jasprit Bumrah because he was rushed in that series against Australia. He played those 2 matches and then eventually he could not make it to that World Cup. So with the very important series coming up against Australia, the Test series and the World Cup later in the year, October, November, you want your best bowler in that side. And if India makes it to the World Test Championship final, you want to feed Jasprit Bumrah rather than risk him in this sort of one-day international. Obviously, he will have to play some matches before he has been drafted into the Test squad. He needs to play. He needs to play at least 1 or 2 matches because that was the case because he went through some match simulation practice and he was given he did not cope up with the extra overload. Means that was the case that Nitin Patel had to rule him out. But then having said that, it doesn't send a good message, good advertisement for NCA because every time we see a lot of things have been said about NCA. So and this is the perfect example that this is not a case of sheer professional. You talk about professionalism, BCCI being a professional body, and here you have your premier bowler. So why you risk him and announce him in the squad?
You just wait.
Yes.
Jolly, one question about Ishan. I mean, getting a double 100 for God's sake in that last ODI, and then you are left out in this particular match. If you were Ishan Kishan, what would you say to yourself? If you are Rohit Sharma, what do you say to an Ishan Kishan? How difficult is that to go and tell the boy, oh, you know what, boy, you are left out? It is like mama looking at some Gorum Bode and saying, boss, today I'm not eating this.
That won't happen. The latter won't happen. I'll talk about the first one. Yeah, I know.
Mama
but
finished
if I
it.
was Ishan Kishan,
Putting it on record, Mama did finish it.
yeah, if I was Ishan Kishan, I would actually be feeling one good thing. I'm feeling terrible, but knowing that anybody who fails, I'll play next. So that part is done. Instead of not knowing whether I'll play again or not. That is okay. Now I know things like this happen, and See, the players must have gone and said, "What you've done is stupendous, but this is what we are going with. You are probably a certainty for the World Cup also. You are there or thereabouts in our plans. We need to figure out the others. We need our senior players. You just played the T20. We've got some senior players who haven't played the T20. They sat out because you could play. Now it's for your turn to sit out so that they can play. See, we are a family, we are a team, and we all have to go together. I think soon will come a time when our T20, 50 overs, and Test cricket will have maybe
Different
25
teams.
players playing these three in the 11 I'm talking. Yeah,
And,
like
and,
England
and
has
on the
only
same
Johnny
vein, thoughts on
Bairstow.
Sky? Thoughts on Surya?
Yeah, I'll just
Same
come back to
logic?
Sky. Like Johnny Bairstow is the only England player. Johnny Bairstow is the only player who plays three versions for England because he says, I'm 33, 34, I don't want to choose. I've got 2, 3, 4 years of cricket left. I want to play every version. Every other players are choosing their versions. Yeah, I think Surya also, I'm amazed that he's not in the one-day team. But one thing must be said, if you look at his one-day record, he's not as good as the T20, but it still holds his own. He still holds his own. And sometimes just because he's doing phenomenal at T20 doesn't mean that he'll have to be phenomenal at 50 overs also. What number does he bat? What is the template? What is the pulse of the game? How many overs is he getting? All that comes into play. So I think in this sort of form, Test cricket, I'm not so sure because that's a different kettle of fish, but definitely white ball cricket. He should walk into every Indian team now because he will
Last
not be
5
able to have
minutes
this
left
form
on the
for the
show,
rest of his
Jaideep.
life.
5 minutes left on the
Yeah.
show. Let me ask you this. 15 T20, 15 50 over games is what Devashish tells me India will play. When do you think Virat will get that 50th ODI 100, breaking Sachin's record? World Cup?
Yeah, 25 games.
So basically,
25
towards the end of the World Cup is what Joydeep says.
I reckon he would make it before the World Cup.
It's Asia Cup. So Devashish is basically booking his ticket to the Asia Cup wherever it is.
Yeah, so that's 15. Devashish books his tickets along with the players, so his seat is always there in the plane.
Correct.
But what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, so you're saying 700 in 15 games.
5. He needs 5.
He needs 5 more.
He needs 4 more to
Devashish, what-
equal, 5 more to
5
break.
more to get past.
Yeah, 5 more. I think about 18, 20 games.
Okay, so basically the World Cup. Joydeep says World Cup. You said just about before the World Cup. But just one question.
Let's have a
to
little
Devashish
side bet.
before I go. Pardon me?
Devashish, let's have a little side bet on this. Let's have a little side bet on this, and Bodia included
Why
because
not?
he's
Why
the judge.
not? Sure.
So what's the bet?
What's the bet?
Mama will
Yeah.
stay off Sandesh for a month.
I say before
No, I
the
can't do
World
that
Cup,
to him.
before the World Cup begins, Virat will go break Sachin's record.
Okay. So what's the
Okay,
bet?
I'm saying it'll happen after that, after once the World Cup starts.
Okay, so what's
It's
the bet?
dinner at any place where the winner, dinner at any restaurant where the winner chooses it.
Okay, done.
Done.
And I'm anyway there. I'll eat. No problem.
You are
I'm not
anyway
part of the
there.
bet. I'll be there. I'm the referee.
No, I said you are there. You are there no matter who wins.
Correct. That's what I'm saying
Yes,
also. That I'm there
absolutely.
no matter who wins. Heads you win, tails you lose. I'm there. Good. Okay. Last 3 minutes. Do you see a contest?
You are like
home
you are
ground.
like that. You are like that. You are like that coin that Amitabh Bachchan had in his hand in Sholay.
Sholay. Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
You are winning.
So next game here at the Eden Gardens, in your backyard, Joydeep Mukherjee, you've been in that ground training, playing, doing everything. What should we expect at the Eden Gardens? Snehashish Ganguly's first match as president. Devashish has done a fabulous interview, which we are running on Rev Sports tomorrow. Newly refurbished Eden Gardens. Joydeep Mukherjee, thoughts on the game before I go to Devashish?
Run feast, absolute run feast. Because I was talking to some people who are involved with the match, and they're saying it's a hard wicket with a little bit of grass on it. Eden Gardens, hard wicket, a little bit of grass on it, 2 white balls. Boy, if you're a bowler,
Thought
you
from
might want to just pray
Chahal's
before you
lack
bowl
of
every ball.
Swapnil, can you just
Okay, we'll ask that. Joydeep, there's a question on Yuzvendra Chahal. Chahal's lack of wickets in ODIs. That's basically the essence.
Yeah, I think he's bowling a bit quicker. He probably knows what he's doing. But if you see the chair of the best, he bowls a bit slower. Every time he bowls, I have an eye on the speed that he's bowling at. And his average speed has gone up by about 10 kilometers per hour, which is a lot for a spinner. Because what we're taught is when we're young, the better the wicket, the slower the bowling for a spinner. And the worse the wicket, the quicker the ball you bowl. So you get less time. That's why Anil Kumble was unplayable on bad wickets. So I feel Chahal needs to bowl a little bit slower. Then there are more revolutions on the ball before the ball goes and hits the ground, so he can get more purchase off it. I have a feeling he is probably feeling a bit tight with this bowling. He feels he's not where he used to be, which is why he's gone into run restrictive mode. I just hope somebody keeps an arm around his shoulder and says, you are a number one spinner. He didn't play the T20 World Cup. Not having played all this, in a mind, no matter what you say, in his mind, he knows that he's not the number one spinner of India anymore. And that has propelled him to worry about saving runs than getting wickets, which is why the 10 kilometers has gone up. If I feel that if he bowls a bit slower, he might be 10-60, but he'll get you 4 wickets. And that's what I want from a premier spinner.
Devashish, Eden Gardens, you interviewed Snehashish next match here. You saw the Eden Gardens, the refurbished press box and all. Tell us before we play the interview.
Yeah, obviously, it will be a cracker of an atmosphere. International match at Eden Gardens, and that too after 6 long years. We are having a one-day international at the Eden Gardens after 6 years. So, and that's quite a bit long wait. So I think that it will be a good atmosphere. Obviously, I'm not too sure about whether it's going to be a sold out or not, because there's too much demands for complimentary tickets.
Devashish, for example, is already flooded with demands. Tomorrow the man is spending the whole day trying to meet the demands of his people for tickets. But are you expecting Sri Lanka to be competitive before I close?
I don't think, because after the mauling that they received at the first one-day international, it will be very tough, because they are traveling tomorrow and day after they are playing the second. So not much time to regroup. So I sense that India will make it 2-0 and win the series at Eden Gardens.
Jadip?
Anybody looking for tickets, Devashish is the man for you, because he's got connections. He knows the Indian team. He knows CAB. He's the man to get in touch with for tickets. Yeah, I feel it'll be a 2-0 as well. I have a feeling that this bowling of Sri Lanka's on these sort of wickets don't have the ammunition to be able to tie down an Indian attack. I think they'll bat well, Sri Lanka, but I don't think there are the bowlers to do the job. And once you get 360, 370, Sri Lanka is out of this game. See, today also they got 300 plus is what they got. So 300 is now the old 250 now. 350 is the 300. With 5 fielders inside the circle, a lot of times I guess asked about Virat and Sachin, and we are just talking about the record. 2 things that goes for Sachin, and this is not Virat's fault, that the rule has changed from 4 fielders to 5 fielders, which has just pushed up the game by 70 runs. It's just giving a bonus of 70 runs. And the second thing is 2 new balls. And the third is that the attack Sachin played compared to this. But none of this is Virat's fault. So there's nothing he can do about it. He's just played by the rules.
Absolutely correct. And if you sort of add to Sachin's thing, you add a 20 more hundreds to it. You've had this discussion in the past. I'll end there. I am not giving Devashish's number, because then it becomes a problem for the little man. But you can follow him on Twitter, DM him.
You can just give him the address,
because he's got tickets. Yes, Jadip?
Yeah. Don't give him the number, just give the address. He loves people at home.
Yeah. He stays in Howrah. I leave it at that. Go find out. So go find out where Devashish stays.
That's enough.
And ask for tickets, because or you can meet him tomorrow at Eden Gardens. He'll be all day there. So that's the man to ask for tickets. Joydeep Mukherjee, thank you very much. Devashish, have a good night, because tomorrow you have to serve the whole of Calcutta with tickets. So be ready. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Virat Kohli, 45th ODI 100, 73rd. Rohit Sharma back among runs. Indian fans, night to celebrate. Thank you very much for watching.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good done. ঠিক আছে?